Those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right. The book The Expectation Effect gives very scientific background to how our mindset can change way more than you expect. I was training for an obstacle run while I was reading this book, and in one of the chapters the author explains that if you learn to reinterpret the signals from your body, you're probably able to last way longer during physical exercise. So while I was running, I was already feeling the pain in my body, and normally I would interpret this as, oh my gosh, let's stop, it hurts, I can't go any longer. But now I was trying to interpret it in a way of saying to myself, this is my body adjusting to a new situation. This is a sign of growth. But eventually I realized my knee wasn't doing so well, so I couldn't do the obstacle run, unfortunately. So the first lesson is, if you were able to have an unlimited willpower mindset, you should be careful, because there's still reality in front of you that's just punching you in the face when you think you are unlimited. The author says that your aim is to be realistic and to take small incremental steps to test your abilities, and not just go full on, full out like I did, because you will be injuring yourself. And you should also be careful about what you're saying to others, because you can really influence them. For example, they showed fake test results from students to teachers, and the teachers started to believe that certain students were really good students and some students were really bad students. So they started to treat them accordingly, and those children, those students, actually increased their IQ by 5 to 10 points over the period of testing this. And this is what they call leakage. There are many very subtle cues that we can all pick up on. For example, when a teacher is not letting a student finish his sentence, the student can interpret this in a certain way that he thinks that the teacher thinks he's stupid and he's not worthy of explaining what is on his mind. So be very careful how you think about other people, because even the subtle cues will leak through and people will pick up on this, and eventually it will just become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the way you think about food will also actually physically impact how you will respond on this. There's a thing called ghrelin, which is a hormone which is called the hunger hormone. So when your ghrelin levels are high, you're going to burn less energy, and when they are low, you're going to burn more energy. Now there were 2 days. One day they gave a group of students a milkshake, which they called indulgence, the decadence that you deserve. It's made of whole milk, smooth cream and all this. The second day they gave the students the same milkshake, but this time they called it the Sensi Shake for guilt-free satisfaction. And again they sampled their ghrelin response at a certain interval, and what they found was that the first day the ghrelin response of the students went up because they expected it to be creamy, and their body actually expected that they would have to start working to metabolize their food. And the second day, the guilt-free but still the same milkshake with the same amount of calories, their ghrelin response didn't do anything. Even though it was the exact same thing that they were consuming, they expected something else to happen, so their body responded to it in a different way. So if your mind expects something to be very creamy and heavy, your body is actually responding to it, and if your mind expects something to be light, your body responds in a different way. But this is really controlled by your mind. This is the crazy thing. It's just what you see, what you read on the label of the milkshake. And this is only one of the examples of how your mind can actually have a physiological response. In another study, they read a beautiful story to 4 to 5-year-old children. There was a girl who was facing challenges. She couldn't open a present yet and she had to wait for ice cream. And in the story, the children were told that every time this girl had to wait, patience and her determination were becoming stronger and stronger. And this whole story was created by the researchers to give these children a non-limited view of willpower. Later they did a test with a group of children who heard this story and a group of children who heard another story. And the group of children that heard the story about the non-limited view of willpower, they asked the children to be in a room with one piece of candy and they could eat it straight away or wait 13 minutes and they will get another candy. You know, this cookie or marshmallow experiment, it's very famous. But what they found was that the first group of children with the non-limited view of willpower, 74% of the children were actually able to resist this candy, while only 45% of the children that heard a different story were able to resist the candy. So this shows how a story can actually alter our willpower. And if you repeat this kind of message long enough, people will start to pick up on this. And this catapulted me into doubting all of my beliefs for a few days. Which is a good thing, because sometimes you just have to be a bit skeptical about the things that you know. But for me, the takeaway of this was that there's a reality, and the beliefs that we have about this reality is very malleable, very stretchable. Like, for example, I'm about to finish this 30-day video challenge of making one video per day. And if I was constantly hearing all around me that this is really difficult and almost impossible to do, then it will be way more difficult. But if I'm constantly hearing that it's doable, people around me are doing the same thing, and I keep telling myself that I can do this, then it becomes way easier. So there's so many things in life that you might think that are very difficult, but that are way less difficult than you think. For the most part, the choice is really yours. And I will see you in the next video.